Hello everyone, this is Lila'Angelique, here with another time-lapse video. This one was really nice to make, relaxing and enjoyable. Haha, not really. All of my drawings are just tedious as fuck whenever I start one. I'm getting a bit more relaxed in regards to just starting on something and not being so afraid and anxious when I begin for fear of thinking it's not going to turn out well. I've been telling myself that I've managed to draw very well for the last decade at least, and in all likelihood the next piece I'm going to make will turn out fine. This one was almost like a throwaway sketch, and in a way I feel that way every time I make a new piece. I think I'm probably just going to rip it up and throw it away until I step back and look at it finished and am surprised by how well it turned out. That's just my process. I don't know why. I think I responded to a comment on the channel the other day where really saying that the process that I go through in regards to drawing is so personal and so private and so secretive almost. Basically, only a handful of people even know that I'm an artist. My closest friends. I will share my art with people that I know well, sometimes with strangers who I think will be interested. But generally, I don't. Generally, it's just my own personal experience that I go through. And if you're not aware already, I am completely obsessed. And I need to do it. If I leave a page blank for a couple of days, I can really fall into a freak out, despair, and disillusion and all this stuff, which is strange because it's a feeling that I'm not good enough. I'm not doing the work by not drawing. Because drawing is, again, it's one of the only things that I can actually do that makes me feel like, oh wow, I'm doing something. Because in regards to the wider world, a lot of the times I can feel like I'm just not able to fucking do anything. That I'm not able to make an impact. That I can't reach people. Even with my art. I've drawn for over a decade, and I have all these books and things that nobody's seen. And I know that very few people will end up watching this video. That's a reality for me, and I've just had to accept it. But what am I supposed to do? I'm doing the very best I can. I work hard every single day. But a former friend of mine once said, you don't get extra credit for working really hard. And it's true. You can say, I worked really hard on this, and if people don't like it, they don't like it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the most important thing is to just fucking do it. That's all I've found that keeps me going, is just continuing to try. Because if I don't try, if I don't create, if I don't produce videos, if I don't draw, if I don't write music, if I don't sing, then nothing is happening. And but in life, a lot of the times it doesn't feel like anything is happening. But when I put that pencil down, I put those colors down, then something is happening. Something is being created. And it's mine. And it's my own imagination flowing freely. So, I really get very frustrated in the sketching process of a drawing because I'm really a perfectionist and I want it to be right, whatever the fuck right means. And I notice with this sketch, as I'm watching it, how my line work is so unsure. I'm not able to just draw these straight lines, which is something I find very satisfying when I watch videos of artists painting or drawing, is that they can just draw a straight, clean line. And I think that holds me back with my art, is that I hesitate. I'm just hesitant. there's a point in my painting process, drawing process, in which I become less hesitant. But that's once the sketching process is over and the line work is over, and I'd have to do a lot of work to give myself the basis to be more free in my art. But I think that's true with life in general, that you kind of have to just have to go with the flow, and you have to create a baseline, a disciplined outline of something in order to have a place to be free, in order to have a space to be free within the confines of that discipline. So in regards to performance, that's true. We go to a space when we're able to find a space, go to that space, do a ceremony, create a container for that energy, and then within the confines of that disciplined space we've created, we then can explode and express and do whatever it is we want. So with art, I have to take the time to create the sketch, to create the image that I want to see. And that takes a lot of time and patience and energy and skill and discipline and talent. And I'm not as good as I want to be. There's some things I want to do that I still am not able to do. And drawing is so time consuming. I believe in heaven. I believe something about in heaven when I die, that I will be able to envision something and then there it will be, instead of me having to toil away continuously for hours and hours and hours, days and days and days, to create something that was in my mind. That's something I believe about death and heaven, is that when you want to see something, that there it is. And that is almost the torture of life, of being alive in this plane of existence, is that we just have to toil away in order to manifest anything that we have in our imagination. We have to just work and work and work and struggle and cry and bleed and sweat and get frustrated and get sad and get depressed and feel isolated and feel lost and feel defeated and useless and hopeless. That's the nature of being a human being, is in order to achieve the visions you have to just fucking work your ass off continuously for an extremely long time. And you have to find joy in that struggle to manifest the image, the music, the art, and then deal with the fact that basically people don't care about it and are not interested. Just as in this video, it's like I said, it's highly unlikely that this video will get very many views, that anyone will watch it. And this is such a precious practice for me that I do every single day. And despite that I have my hang-ups about it, I'm very proud of what I do. I'm proud of my discipline. I'm proud of the hard work I put into what I do every day. I'm proud of the skill level that I've achieved. And it's just a reality as an artist that people are not going to be interested. Like, just because you are really interested in something that you love doing doesn't mean that anybody else is going to. And that's something I have to face every day with my creative work. Day by day, I put in so much effort and so much time and so much passion into the things that I do creatively every day, and the world at large is not interested in it. And sometimes I handle that better than other times. Sometimes I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. And that's when I'm the most happy, actually. That's when I'm the most satisfied and the most creative, is when I don't focus on what people think or if anyone cares or is interested. Because in the long run, in the great scheme of things, it just doesn't matter. If anyone is interested in what I'm doing, it's more that I am, and I'm doing it. Basically, if any artist in history focused on does anyone care about what I'm doing, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have created it. So the most important thing is to create rather than be concerned about anybody's interest in it. but it does affect me. It absolutely does affect me. It affects me every time I upload these videos, and then I notice it's very blatantly obvious how few views these videos get and how few people comment. And I can't hope that people will comment and watch it just because I want them to, because there's plenty of other shit going on in the world that is much bigger than me, that has much more attention, much more fame, much more recognition than I may ever get in the time that I'm alive. But that can't stop me from creating. So it's it really, when I really get into the process and I don't think about any of that stuff and I forget about that stuff, then when I'm working on the color, which I probably am by now, coloring stuff in and making little doodles and shit, that really makes me happy. And seeing it up close is really interesting for me because I can see little cities and galaxies and creatures and all sorts of little things, and I'm just doodling. And that, it's taken me a really, really, really long time to be able to doodle on top of a sketch that is a face. Usually for a long time I would keep things blank. I wouldn't even fill anything in. I have a major problem with things feeling messy. And what's funny is that my desk space and all of my spaces in my real life, my clothes, my costumes, my makeup, my desk where I work and draw and paint, everything's kind of all over the place. But in my art, I'm very keen on things being just so, and it really limits me as an artist. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to be a bit more messy. It's really difficult for me to just make lines without thinking about them going a certain way or looking a certain way or falling on the page a certain way, and it just drives me nuts. Because I really want to have a more expressionistic, abstract look with my paintings, and that requires confidence with the line, like I was talking about earlier. I really have to be confident with the lines that I'm making, instead of doing these just do long brush strokes and long lines. And that's always been hard for me. I only noticed that by watching the time lapse last night. So I'm learning, and I'm actually learning a lot by rewatching myself drawing and painting, seeing what it is I do and what I want to improve on and how I want to grow. So I'm always trying to grow. And like these days, I've noticed that the last couple paintings I've done, the facial expressions have been pretty neutral because I'm focused more on the coloring. And with the next piece I'm doing, I'm sketching some very expressive faces, which is just a practice of me wanting to learn how to, see if I can draw faces that are not just neutral, because I'm still learning how to draw. But I'm finding that I can draw things that I see. I'm really good at drawing things that I see. If I have a reference, then I can draw it. But even drawing from imagination, even drawing things that I don't see and things that are fantastical, I can do. But making things look really real, like three-dimensional and having shadows and all that, is challenging for me, because I'm very light, bright, white, bright colors, neon colors. I tend not to use black or shadow or gray or brown or any of those dark colors. Sometimes I get on a kick where I'll just be doing really, really dark paintings for a while. I did that when I was at my mom's house several years ago. And I remember showing them to her and she was just aghast. But I guess that's how I was feeling. But yeah, generally my paintings are very light and bright. And I love that way of, I'm just super obsessed with colors and using as many different color combinations as I can and seeing how things look. But I have to remember that a sketchbook is for sketching and learning. The pieces don't have to be completely finished. I know some artists struggle with actually finishing pages in sketchbooks or even finishing a sketchbook, whereas I will fill the entire page with color and images and have an idea of wanting to have a finished image on the page with everything that I do. And it's hard for me to experiment and be bold and try something different and make a mistake and learn. I'm always learning, but I tend to, the desire to have completely finished pieces all the time actually limits me, because then I'm not able to leave room for experimentation and something coming out in a different way. But with these new pieces I'm working on, I'm just art and drawing and painting and all that is something in which I feel like at least I have control over that, and there's few other things in my life, in general, in everyone's life, that we have control over, and art is something that I have control over it, and I have skill and talent, and so I'm able to at least have that in my life, and it gives me a sense of pride that I'm able to at least control something. I'm able to control a pencil and a paintbrush and a piece of paper. I can't control many things in my life, but at least I can control that.